one left.
Julie and I are unintentionally twinning. Don't know how that happened, but it did. And you know what that means? You know what that means? It's gonna be closer to my birthday, because that's the last one before my birthday.
Isn't it great?
Anyways, guys, this episode, a bit back and forth between what we have already recorded last week and what we're currently recording on September 16th. So, in hopes of getting this episode out, because your girl realized Champions League starts this week, so we're gonna have another episode to edit as well. Fun times.
Yeah.
Yeah, so great. Live, love, sports. But F1 video, we are recapping Monza. We are going to break down each of the free practices. We'll break down a little bit into qualifying as well, and then the actual race. Then, we do with the points and whatnot, and our predictions, whatever. But
Okay, it's not a lot. But first things first, we have Irvin Limbaugh securing the F1 promotion.
Yeah, supposedly.
And he would be taking Isaac's seat, and then Isaac would be taking Yuki's seat, and then Yuki Alpine. Unless that's a joke.
Or hear me out. Do we really need Liam Lawson?
No. 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 I don't think so. You're great. You're a great guy. Not my favorite driver.
I'm gonna keep my opinion to myself on that one. But, yeah, I don't know. There's rumors of Yuki going to Alpine. There's also rumors about... I'm pretty sure that we talked about this last week, but now we're just repeating it. Alex Dunn going to Alpine, but McLaren want to retain him. So it's like, do you do alone? Like, what are we doing here? But yeah, especially because I heard that they want to retain him because Lando's contract is up in 2027. So if they don't look great, rumor has it that Lando's leaving, and then they would put Alex in for Lando.
Right? Love that. Anyways, moving on. Before we start talking nonsense, now to the free practice recap. So, first things first, we have FP1. Lewis Hamilton lit up the track with a blistering lap of 1 minute and 20 seconds. Well, 1 minute 20.117, topping the timesheet for Ferrari 2.
The 2's not supposed to be there, but that's okay.
Okay. I mean, 2 was for Ferrari, too. Anyways, and then Charles Leclerc followed closely, just with a 0.169 behind, securing a Ferrari 1-2 at their home race. Kind of set up the week. We all were pretty shocked.
We thought.
Anyways, and then that also brings Carlos Sainz, the past Ferrari driver, now driving for Williams, impressed with the P3. I was just like, I saw this, was like, because I was working, I couldn't watch it, and I was like, okay, awesome. But we did have a red flag, which triggered midway due to gravel on the track, thanks to an off-track excursion by Antonelli and Hadjar. George Russell suffered a power failure late in the session, bringing out a virtual safety car. The rookies, Paul Aaron for Alpine, and Alex Doohan for McLaren had quiet outings, with Aaron spinning early on.
Yeah, nothing like we were talking about last time when Alex was in for Lando at, I can't remember the track, but whatever. And he was within, like, he was top 5, right? And Lando was like 2, and Alex was top 5, and we were like, huh? Should he be up this high? But well, I mean, I guess while we're talking about Alex, we kind of just have to say that Red Bull are looking at signing him. He's said that multiple teams have approached him for driving, and he doesn't really care as long as he's driving in F1. But as of right now, what seats are even available other than Red Bull? Like,
I think Red Bull's the only one that's available. Alpine is pretty clean cut on keeping. I don't think anyone's up to like getting a driver other than Red Bull, and there's talks that Red Bull is tempted to bring Yuki. Well, not Yuki, Isaac, and Isaac.
yeah, because of Arvid, and they want to bring Arvid up.
Yeah, so.
Into Isaac's seat, promote Isaac. But like, why would you keep Liam?
I know. He causes so many issues. Didn't he say something? Oh no. Was it Carlos in the last race or the race, like this race, where Carlos was like,
last
the same, it's always the same guy.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, it pretty much is.
Yeah. So anyways, moving on. So we have FP2. Lando clocked a 1 minute and 19-second score. What am I saying here? My brain's fried, y'all. It's been a long time. Lando clocked with a minute 19.878 seconds, narrowly beating Charles Leclerc by 0.083 seconds, and Carlos Sainz by 0.096 seconds. Mirror madness. Both McLaren drivers had mirror issues. Piastri had a cracked one, while Norris lost his entirely.
Yeah, it was on the same side of the car too. Like, are you kidding me? Like, what was going on?
Yeah. And then Antonelli beat his Mercedes early, causing a red flag. Piastri and Gabriele Bortoleto were investigated for ignoring yellow flags during Antonelli's incident. Leclerc, Hamilton, and Piastri all took high-speed detours through the gravel late in the session. God bless. It's been one of those days. I'm trying here. I really am. And then FP3, Norris versus Leclerc. Norris topped the session with a late flyer of 1 minute and 19 seconds, 0.331. But Leclerc thrilled the Tifosi by coming within 0.021 of snatching P1. Oscar finishing with P.
Yeah. And that was like all that happened in FP3. There was like nothing exciting.
I remember catching the like end of it, and I was like, "Well, that was great." Anyways, qualifying, yeah.
Kind of upset with qualifying, but that's okay because we'll get into that in a hot second. Our Q1 knockouts: Liam, Pierre, Franco, Lance, and for the first time ever, Isaac Hadjar. He was the only driver to not be eliminated in Q1. And unfortunately, he was eliminated. But I have loved all the memes that are like, he did this on purpose, guys. He did it on purpose. He was getting too good and he nerfed himself because he didn't want to get in that Red Bull seat. Which, you gotta respect it. But Q2, our knockouts were Esteban Ocon, Carlos Sainz, Nico Hulkenberg, Alex Albon, and Ollie Behrman, all eliminated here. This is where it gets for me because Lando went out and I forget what exactly happened his first. Oh, they told him he needed a pit. I don't know why. But they told him he needed a pit, right? So he pits. And then he goes out, he does a lap, but it's not a good one. But there's obviously not enough time for him to
improve.
No, not improve, but for him to be pitted and then come back out and have good track position. So McLaren said, Lando, you're gonna do a double cool, and then you're gonna go on a push lap, which I think the announcers forgot because I was like, what do you mean he was doing a push, cool, push? That was not what McLaren just said a couple minutes ago. And I'm telling you, he crossed the line on his push lap with 2 seconds left. 2 seconds left. And I was like, oh, thank goodness, blessing our lucky stars that he got this in. Otherwise, he was going to get eliminated. Like, there was no hope for him. But thankfully, he got the lap in. It was decent, but it wasn't, like, spectacular. But it put him through to Q3. So our top 10 here, we have Yuki in 10th, Fernando 9th, Gabby, Kimmy, George, Lewis, Charles, Oscar, Lando, and Max on pole by 0.012 seconds. I'm telling you, I wish McLaren had used Oscar to give a little bit more of a tow.
Yeah.
To Lando. That didn't happen, but that's what Red Bull did with Max and Yuki.
Yeah.
But that's fine. We're not going for pole, apparently. But that being said, we already know we're in for some papaya rules this this race. But, yeah, and you have to remember that Lewis did have a 5th-place grid penalty, so he actually ended up starting in 10th, not 5th. But he qualified 5th, so penalty, yeah. But we'll do our race recap. So, laps 1 through 3. Lando led after Max pushed him off in turn 1. Max was on the radio like, are you sure I need to give the place back? Like, what? And Red Bull was like, yes, just do it. And so he does, and that effectively saved him a penalty. That definitely would have been coming his way after previous races and the results of all that, because Lando was able to stay on the track and make both of the turns. Max was not. He went off. So, yeah. And then we also had Charles versus Oscar. Somehow they had just ended up fighting, not fighting, but like, you know, on the track fighting side by side.
Race for them.
Yes, and somehow, some way, Oscar got around him in some corner that he really shouldn't have. But you know, it's fine. We're just rolling with it at this point. But then lap 4, Max overtook Lando into turn 1, and from there on out, he pretty much just floored it, to say the least. And he was gone. And I was like, what happened to the pace of the McLarens? But that's fine. That's totally fine. Not so sure what's going on here, but our pace is gone. Not so sure why we are like this, but that's okay. And then lap 9, Esteban Ocon got a 5-second penalty for pushing Lance off of the track on one of the turns. Lap 19 through, well, lap 19 and 20, Ollie pitted, and then Yuki pitted, and then lap 21, Ollie overtook Yuki. So that, I mean, once again, Red Bull kind of screwed Yuki with this strategy here. They're just, I don't know, it dropped him down the whole way, and not everyone followed his thing to pit. But that's okay, because lap 21, we said Ollie overtaking Yuki, and then we had Gabby versus Fernando, which ended up being a pit stop race. And let me tell you, Aston Martin did a spectacular job, because Fernando was able to overtake Gabby in the pits. But then lap 25, we had Alex passing Carlos. I believe that this was where the team orders came into play, because Alex was on a different strategy and he was on the hard tires, so the hard tires were supposed to run longer, whereas Carlos was on the medium. And then, yeah, that was a whole thing. But then we literally had Fernando, his front suspension just failed completely going over just, like, one of the curbs. Yeah.
Sorry.
It like, so that was great. He retired from the race. And then lap 28, George was the first of the front runners to pit. And then 29, Kimmy pits to overcut Gabby, which ends up working. And then lap 31, Carlos pits, and crucially, he stays out ahead of Yuki and Pierre past Franco. Again, team orders there. Lap 33, Isaac pits. Lap 34, Charles pits and he goes onto hard tires. And Franco pits as well because, he just got passed by his teammate. Lap 35, George was able to pass Lance Stroll. And then the next lap, he was able to pass Esteban Ocon. And then lap 37, Max decided to pit onto hard tires. And then lap 39, Lewis decided to pit. Lap 40, Kimi almost took out Pierre twice. And I was like, do it. Please, 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 please. Didn't happen. But then we got the crucial contact between Carlos Sainz and Ollie Behrman. This was the moment that I thought McLaren was going to get their winning safety car. And that was going to be spectacular. But no, both of the drivers were able to continue. And we just got brief yellow flags. And I was like, are you kidding me? But I'm pretty sure there was a piece of front wing on the track, so technically there could have been a safety car, but there wasn't. And that was in turn 5, of course. And then lap 42, Alex pits from P4. Lap 45, then he proceeds to pass Kimi, which is crucial, and you'll find out in a couple minutes why. And then lap 46, Oscar pits. Lap 47, Lando pits.
Sorry.
Okay. Well, lap 47, Lando pits, and he gets a 6-second pit stop and effectively ruins his race. Not happy about this because, number one, the team radio, Lando was on there arguing that Oscar should take the pit stop first in order to protect himself from Charles, which, I mean, honestly, I don't think Charles was a threat, but I see the point of saying, hey, let's pit Oscar first just to be safe, and then the team kind of told him, like, if anything happens, like, that's fine. And then Lando pitted, and front left didn't want to come up, or something went wrong there. I don't know what. Either way, I'm upset about it. And then this allowed Oscar to go through and pass him effectively. But we also found out at this point of the race that Ollie got a 10-second penalty for the contact with Carlos, which, I mean, honestly, they should have just let that go because Carlos didn't leave him room, and Carlos turned in on Ollie. So, whatever. Yeah, then lap 49, we got another radio from McLaren, another, papaya rules, saying to Oscar, let Lando through, and Oscar kind of retaliated and was like, well, you guys said pit stops were fair racing, and yeah. Anyways, and then lap 51, Max got on his radio to talk about it as well after GP informed him that Lando and Oscar had swapped positions. And he just laughed about it. And honestly, it is what it is. And then lap 52, Alex was up to P7. And the last lap, well, one of the last laps, Kimi got a 5-second penalty for erratic driving. So here's how the race ended up finishing. We got Max winning, Lando in second, Oscar in third, Charles in fourth, George in fifth, Lewis in sixth, Alex in 7th, Gabby in 8th, Kimi in 9th, and Isaac in 10th. And 11th, we have Carlos, 12th, we have Ollie, 13th, Yuki, 14th, Liam, 15th, Esteban, 16th, Pierre, 17th, Franco, and 18th, Lance. And you have to remember we had Fernando with a DNF, and Nico, who went out before the race even started because Sauber noticed an issue, so he had to pull off and retire his car before the race even started. But something notable about this race is that Isaac Hadjar started in the pit lane and he ended in the points, just like Ollie last weekend, but just not as high. He ended in 10th. Ollie ended in 6th.
Cool. Awesome. Constructor standings haven't changed. Neither have the driver standings. Well, actually, Alec jumps Kimmy for 7th. Isaac Hadjar jumps Miko for 9th. That's all you need to know. Moving on. Race podium predictions.
Yes.
Yeah. Such a jump.
I don't think last race really went how either of us wanted it to go. If I'm being honest. But, oh yes, you got 3 points. I got 2 points because I had Lando and Max, but you had Lando and Oscar, but you got a bonus point because you got Oscar in the right spot. So you got another point. Your total is now up to 49 and mine's 79.
Starting to feel like Lando.
So the preview for Baku. The first Grand Prix was held in 2016, so it's a newer track. We have a total of 51 laps. The lap distance is 6.003 kilometers per lap. Race distance total 306.049 kilometers. The lap record is held by Charles Leclerc. He set that in 2019, and his time is 1 minute 43 seconds. 0.009. So yeah, and last year's podium was Oscar in first, Charles in second, and George in third, and Lando in fourth, if you really want to throw that in there.
See, I want to put Lando in first because I'm really rooting for him, but also, like, Oscar did really good at this race last year. And so it wouldn't be a surprise if he won it again this year, but you know the whole thing about them winning each other's races. So, I'm gonna say I want a redemption race for Lando, so I'm gonna say Lando in first.
Okay.
Oscar in second. I really would like him to be in third, but I don't know. He did really good last season on this race, and I have a feeling he's gonna be very competitive this weekend. So I'm gonna say Oscar in second. And then it's really hard when it comes to like Charles because he's like Ferrari is so unpredictable, and I would say Charles. Part of me wants to say Max as well, but I feel like that's a no for me. I'm gonna keep Max off the roster. But then you also have George. Charles. I'm gonna go with Charles.
Alright, well, if it makes you feel any better, I haven't heard anything about the weather.
Great. Good to know. Anyway.
Myself, I think, oh boy, I'm gonna go Charles in first. I feel like last year with him, he pretty much led the entire time, and Oscar with that awesome move. Crazy, but I don't know. I feel like it's more of a straight track, and it doesn't have a lot of corners. So I feel like it's okay. And the Ferrari's fast on the straights, so we could be cooking here. We could be cooking. Just let me cook a little bit here.
Let me cook.
And then I'm gonna go Lando in second. And I'll go George in third, because why not?
I'm here for it.
I really don't think that Mercedes is gonna get on the podium, but he did last year, so.
It's really like with Mercedes and Ferrari this season, it's so unpredictable with them because I mean they'll have a really good race and then the next race it's like
and the way that Mercedes just like does good, but it's only in like, you know, the lower temperature tracks. Yeah. Whatever.
It's okay. And then everyone else is just trying to get through.
Literally.
What I root for y'all. Not the drivers, not all of them, but I root for y'all. Competitive, you know? Anyways, that was our quick little preview. Sorry about the F1 video coming out later than usual, but it's been a week for us, and can you blame us? But if you'd like to see more of our videos, and hopefully they'll come out at a normal time, please subscribe. We've gotten a few new subscribers, and we're now at like 210 subscribers, which is insane. And we thank everyone that has subscribed recently. And honestly, later on, to our first subscribers, we appreciate you. You're still sticking on. If you would like to get a notification when we post our videos, turn on the post notifications. Please like our videos. It makes our day a bit brighter. And then check our links in the description below for our other social media pages. We try and post more and more. Sometimes we don't post as much. Sometimes we're posting like every day. So if you would like to not miss those, please follow us. And then let us know in the comments your podium predictions, your arguments on why you think yours will do better than ours. I am down to hear it. If I don't answer, it's because I forget to. And and that's pretty much it. So yeah.
Stay on the lookout for our Champions League episode as well. We have that. Hopefully the video will be out by Friday. But stay tuned for that. So